This is Things You Might Not Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and I am ready to present to you yesterday's latest in information, current events, politics, and pop culture. This is your go-to supplemental source for both mainstream and unconventional news stories that you may have missed along the way, and a little extra added context to those. In the queue, 8 stories from the past day that you vetted as conversational, and we curated to this 8-part newscast right here. We'll explain the vetting process in a bit and give you today things, some fun stuff to wrap up the day and the week, if you will. So stick around for the full end of what we have going on. We need you, we need you to know that our website is the Conversation Project at this is the Conversation Project at .com. That's what it is. This is theconversationproject.com is our website, and our email address is theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Get those straight. Check out our website for more details about what we got going on, and check out our email. Email us for what you have to talk about, and we will chat it up every day. In fact, that's what we do every day. We have you to give us the news stories to chat up every day to get things going. Today is Friday, the 12th of January, 2024. Let's get into the news stories for today that vetted by you and curated by me into this newscast. Story number 1, in no particular order, just the way they lined out, is this one. Big tech not done with layoffs. Google, Amazon announced 2024 cuts for the year. In the recent article by the Washington Post, it was relayed that many big companies were doing layoffs. Over the course of yesterday, actually, we popped in little bitty hits of various companies that were doing layoffs or had them coming or actually had already engaged them. This one talked about Google and Amazon both coming up, cutting many jobs. Google about 12,000, Amazon about 27,000 workers. This is worldwide, so it's not right in like any particular location in the States, but this is a big deal because those are big global companies. But tech in general, all saying the same thing. Got too big during the pandemic, and now that things are going back to normal, normalcy is what's being needed. Number 1, they're fighting people not coming back to offices. Number 2, they've got too many people doing minor things remotely that they can do in multiple shifts. And so what they need is smarter, faster, a little better, and a little less in the way of people. We'll see how this one plays out over time, and if this will have some issues on global economy and specific economy here in the States. Story for this number 2 this morning. AI generated George Carlin drops comedy special that daughter speaks out against. A special called George Carlin, I'm Glad I'm Dead is an AI generated comedy special featuring the late George Carlin. Special sparked controversy and debate in the comedy world on who owns people's rights to stuff, which is always a big one, who can create things from the memories of other folks, and should dead comedians be giving full comedy specials in their likeness, and would they actually line up with what you would get from the real comedians themselves? Kelly Carlin, daughter of George Carlin, is extremely upset about this because, number 1, respect for her father's legacy, and number 2, respect for her father's the estate as well. The actual creation of the AI construct was done by some very well-meaning comedians. I'll say that just up front, just kind of there. But they are comedians who are trying to also make a buck, and we're seeing if something like this happens. Remember, there was a strike over the summer by writers and by actors for not having AI do their acting for them and their writing for them. And since this is essentially what was done, why was there a strike in the first place? For people to do dumb stuff like this. Let's move on to the story at number 3 this morning. Aaron Rodgers returns to the Pat McAfee Show day after host said NFL star is done with show. So that was pretty quick. Aaron Rodgers was back on the Pat McAfee Show yesterday after the day prior. Pat McAfee, the host of the Pat McAfee Show, said, "We are done with Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the season." That's all we have for that. Pretty much it says itself. It says what's going on. And a lot of people definitely roasting ESPN and Pat McAfee and, of course, Aaron Rodgers. Many of those folks now internally in ESPN who were backing McAfee for a while, now they're all kind of disgusted with it. Let's go to the story at number 4 for this morning. Headline reads, Michael Irvin under police investigation. Hall of Famer denies wrongdoing. The former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver is currently under police investigation in Allen, Texas for unspecified allegation. That's it. We don't know what's going on. Irvin's had some issues. He had some issues as a player. He had some issues as a broadcaster, just having issues in life, and we don't know what's going on. But we know enough to say something's going on, so just go with it and kind of just go with it. These are the things that make my job as a pseudo journalist really interesting and really frustrating, because we want to actually have a story to tell. But the problem is the misconduct that's being specified is not being specified to the public. At some point in time, when charges are made or charges are dropped, someone will have to say something, and Michael Irvin will have a chance to speak his piece. What he's saying right now is nothing to talk about, nothing to see, nothing happened. Our next story, it's number 5 for this morning. It is the headline: NSYNC'S Joey Fatone and Backstreet Boys' AJ McLean confirm they're touring. No reason to get excited, said the Joker to the thief, or said the Joker to the thief. No, I've said it backwards. I don't know what I'm doing this morning. No reason to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke, I should say. I'm getting mixed up with my lyrics. But the whole deal is, I ruined the joke. NSYNC and Backstreet Boys are not touring. Joey Fatone and AJ McLean are touring. Now, I'm not sure how big AJ McLean's actual following as a single guy is. Joey Fatone's more or less a comedy act. In fact, he's a comedy act that's backed up by his dad's comedy act. The old guys doing the NSYNC too. The old guys being a boy band. But Joey Fatone and AJ McLean will hit theaters, hit stores, hit shelves, hit marketplaces, hit malls near you, doing their thing, doing the Joey Fatone and AJ McLean show, not NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. So don't get your hopes up there, Rhonda Lund, because it's not the Backstreet Boys, it's just AJ, and I know AJ is not one of your favorites. Let's go on to the next story. Bad joke aside, so we're going to skip the bad joke for this one, but this isn't really much of a joke. Hunter Biden pleads not guilty at arraignment on tax charges. Now, yesterday, or day prior to yesterday, Hunter Biden showed up at his hearing, or actually the committee hearing, wasn't actually for him, to talk about putting him in contempt of Congress. Yesterday, he showed up in actual court, and he pled not guilty to federal charges on tax evasion, a bunch of other things, about 9 other charges told him this one. This is over a long course of time, and this is really built into the plea deal he had about a year ago that got broken apart because the judge was like, yeah, this one thing's not good. I know this seems like it's minor, but this one thing's not good. Let's go rework it. So they decided to just throw the book at him for everything. We'll see how this thing plays out, obviously in court, as he's going to court for this one. It's actually pretty obvious that he evaded taxes, but the conditions around these things, the fact that he's basically paid them all back, is where things are being contended in the issue. We'll see how this plays out and whether this will become a bigger specter on his pops, President Joe Biden, or just prove even more just to the world that Hunter Biden, not necessarily a great guy. Headline number 7. At World Court, South Africa accuses Israel of genocide in Gaza. This is actually something that Israel's been accused of by many places in courts of public opinion around the world, even here, as many people are saying. But the article we got from Reuters went through a significant legal case, the significant legal case and the basis of the case at the United Nations, at the International Court of Justice in The Hague, as South Africa is formally accusing Israel of genocide in Gaza, essentially representing the Palestinian side on the issue, saying that the actions that Israel is doing is amounting to genocide. Complex to say what is genocide, what is humanitarian issues, what is actually good or bad for other folks. So it's a really big deal to kind of work the thing out. And the fact that it's at The Hague is a really big deal. It's also a really big deal what's going on initially, or at the moment in Gaza, at the moment with Palestine, at the moment with Israel, and the attacks as they are actually being led. The big issue is, how will this play out, not just in courts of public opinion, we know how that's playing out, but in actual court, in international court, and what will happen from this. The world is definitely watching this. Our number 8 story for this morning. Sorry, having issues working through things this morning. This number 8 story for this morning is a headline: new trend in a survey shows that workers are willing to take 20% pay cuts for better work-life balance. This is a survey done by Ford Motor Company on their workers. 52% of their employees would actually take a pay cut for better work-life balance. Now, the big question is, what does that actually mean? No one really knows, but essentially working overtime, working extra time, and pushing the limits or more things like extra time and more time off and more time leave for family and things like that, essentially is how things play out. The specifics are all kind of, wishy-washy and wonky based on the person, but essentially not being so focused on the job and being more time to actually focus on other things that are related to home and family and just general life and mental health would be better to things. That's what they're saying in this survey. Check out the link and go deeper into of the article and the survey and what some people are saying about this information. Our apologies, errors, and omissions section. Number one, I guess I'm apologizing for the tiredness and slowness in the issues I have today. Last night we had a very significant storm roll through Little Rock, through Arkansas, and for about an hour and 15 minutes or so under a tornado watch. So that meant spending time, hiding in the bathrooms. After the last tornado, we don't play with these things. If the sirens go off, we get up, we shelter. And so there's a lot of tired folks in this house, a lot of things that kind of got rushed in here. So we apologize for that in today's broadcast. So we apologize for that one. Also, quick apologies yesterday for mixing up Kim Coles, who, of course, lovely Kim Coles with the lovely Kim Fields. Both of them starred in Living Single. One of them was Tootie. One of them was not. One of them had a birthday yesterday. That was Kim Coles. Sorry about that. Much love to both Kim Fields and Kim Coles, but it was actually Kim Coles' birthday. As far as omissions, a story we didn't get into the link today that was really, really interesting. So make sure you look for this one. Jelly Roll, the Grammy nominee country rapper, more or less, set for Congress yesterday. He gave a testimony on mental health, substance abuse, and the music industry impact on these issues, as he was a former drug dealer back in the day before he made it big. He has that in common with Jay-Z, and that gets brought up all the time, in various things. But Jelly Roll, who survived, back in the day by doing petty crimes and drug dealing, and now is a big-time star, spoke about fentanyl and other things for the Senate yesterday. Our teaser story for this morning is an interesting one. It's one that I didn't particularly care for, but as I said, we're running a little behind and late on things, so we had to pull something that we had worked out this one. This one was in the queue, so we pulled it out. Our teaser story has the headline that reads like this. NBA commissioner, or actually in-season tournament, will no doubt return next season for the NBA, Commissioner Silver says, reading ahead to the first sentence of that thing. So, bad read for this morning. But this is the NBA in-season tournament that happened at the beginning of the season. Silver says it's coming back with some tweaks. Also says there'll probably be another case where one of the regular season games played in Paris, which is going on right now, I believe. So he's talking about the future of the NBA, which is more or less what just happened. Were you enthralled, thrilled, happy, or just sort of weirded out by the inaugural, the in-game season tournament won by the Lakers? So that's one trophy that LeBron has that many others don't. Let us know. Go to our feeds and let us know what stories you want to talk about, because you do that with every single story. Go to facebook.com/thisisAconversationproject or twitter.com/th_conversation and let us know what you want to talk about, because we post news stories every 50 minutes in our feeds. And what we ask for you to do is simply go to those feeds and engage in those stories and tell us which ones are worthy of your attention. It's that simple. Just tell us which ones are worthy of your attention. Go to Twitter/X or Facebook and let us know how's it go. Every 50 minutes the story's there. This one has been there for a while, actually. This one's a little older-ish, so I'm not sure this one's going to survive the weekend to be a story in Monday, but we shall see. On Monday, we'll give you 10 stories in this rundown from the top 30 stories of the weekend, today, tomorrow, Sunday, and a itty bit of Monday, because we cut it off a little bit Monday morning. And the top 10 top 30 stories get a shot for 10 stories we present in that form on Monday. Of course, all these stories are up for grabs for the weekend show, the weekly wrap up. We'll explain that in just a bit. Let's go on to talk about a spotlight sponsor this week. Hostage tape. Hostage tape is the most comfortable mouth tape on the planet. They also have strips. I've talked about, why would you put one of those strips on your nose when you can put tape over your mouth? Well, they have strips as well. So there's that. Believe it or not, you may have been laughing at, if you watched this for a while, has Hostage Tape as one of our sponsors. But they were so popular and they had a big sale for Thanksgiving going to Christmas that they actually ran out of inventory. They were behind on inventory for a few weeks going into the Christmas season because it's so popular. Giggle all you want to. Once you try it, you're going to love it. Hostage tape, as I said, the most comfortable mouth tape in the world. It closes your mouth, keeps your mouth closed, so you have better chances of breathing the proper way through your nose. They also have strips for opening your nose, that does like the other strips that are made just as comfortable, just as popular for helping you breathe through your nose as well, and other things to check out as well, including swag, because you got to have swag. Check them out at our link. This is a conversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is conversationproject.com/hostage tape. Check it out. This is an affiliate link, so if you use our link, we get affiliate commission. It's that simple. Check it out. Help us out. Check out hostage tape. Now, let's talk about the Conversation Project. This is the part where first we have to do this. I literally had it right there in the script to read and then skipped it again. Last day this week, we're going to promote my newest book, which is These Will Get You the Job by me, J. Clifton Payne. We want you to check this book out because if you're looking for a new you this year, this book may help you out in the way of your career. If you're looking to impress your bosses now or find ways to impress new bosses and bring up a new portfolio for a new job, you look at this book with tips to help you work on some very crucial, very mindful things that when I talk to hiring managers and people in the workforce in my side gig in doing management consulting, these are the things they're looking for. And I'll also give you a little heads up on things that I'm looking for you to look for, because there are also things that they say they look for. There are reasons for to do things. They like to exploit some of those great things you want to. If you are a person who tends not to get into the weeds and gossip, they can easily divide and conquer you out of folks and have things work against you. It's one of those things they do to keep things control. It seems a little dirty. It is a little dirty, but the whole book is a great book to get you to figure out what actual traits you need to be working on and what traits you need to keep an eye on for other folks to work on you. Check it out. Search for it on Amazon at These Will Get You the Job. J. Clifton Payne. I'm not sure the exclamation points needed in the search, but you can do that. It's always fun to do that. I thought it was fun to put that in the title. Now, quickly, the Conversation Project lives online at conversationproject.com. Check out our website for more details about us. Go to our feeds and check out the links we're posting, the stories we're posting, so you can engage in those, and we get to know what you want to talk about. You literally tell us what to talk about every single day. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com, and you can tell me what to do and where to do and how to do it. But please be gentle. And of course, stop by our sponsors page and our partnerships page to help us keep things going along the way. So you can also find out the various ways, various venues, various sites we're on for video, audio, and replays as well at the website. Check it out. Website's a great wealth of knowledge. And as we say every single time, if you deem us worthy of good stuff, please consider checking out the partnership page, partnering with us so we can do more things together in this upcoming year. Now, let's wrap up with the fun stuff for this morning, this Friday morning, the 12th of January. And we start off with birthdays. We always kick off with birthdays on the fun stuff. And this is no exception. Today, we're celebrating the life, the love, the creativity, the man, the myth, the legend, Howard Stern, at 70 years old today. Howard Stern is a literal dinosaur of the broadcasting business, as he began in the days of the serious shock jock era in the 70s, battling back and forth, literally battling back and forth with other shock jocks, survived to become a national treasure and a national terror. And then backlash from, nappy-headed hoes happened. And that all happened. He was smart enough to take the plunge into satellite radio, where he could basically say whatever he wanted to because you had to pay for it. And he was able to extend his life for quite a time and do more things and become even larger as the king of all media, as he calls himself. Howard Stern turning 70 on the day. Also love to Issa Rae, who's 39. And, love hate to Jeff Bezos, who's 60 on the day. For our history lesson, we had a lot of things popping up today that were TV related. Batman debuted this day in 1966, and All in the Family debuted this day in 1971. But let's talk about the big one. This is one that literally defined my generation. The televised murder trial of football superstar O.J. Simpson began in Los Angeles. He was acquitted of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, Ronald Goldman. So that eventually turned into the acquittal, a whole lot of crazy that brought us, oddly enough, the birth of the Kardashians many years later, the White Bronco, A.J. Cowings, Kato Kalin, the Dancing Itos. If you don't remember this time, if you're under 30 and have no idea what happens, go to YouTube, look for explanations on the O.J. Simpson actual trial, not just the silliness he's done since then, and just get into it, because it was wild, and it was live. It wasn't streamed, and they actually took off soap operas to show O.J. Simpson all day long, and it was a big soap opera. Today is work harder day. Pretty simple. It's easy to get caught up in the routine of simply just getting things done. Today is a day to push to do things a little bit harder. It's unique, but it's not necessarily all that out of the ordinary. So today is a day just to remember to not get stuck in a malaise and work a little harder, get a little more done. That's all we got for that celebration today. But we do have a poll question for this morning. Pretty simple one. We talked about Hunter Biden today. We talked about him yesterday. We talked about him a couple times this week. We talk about him a lot. Are we making too much of the Hunter Biden story? The overall narrative that is Hunter Biden and what he has done, what he may do in the past, and just the fact that he's kind of a creep. We can kind of agree on that. So are we just making up stuff just to have reasons to chat about it? Or is there really some smoke behind the fire of people bringing it up all the time? Yeah or nay? Go to our website. Let us know what you think about this story. It will help us determine whether we talk more or less about Hunter Biden. Because if you don't think we're talking about it enough, then apparently we need to bring more into it and make you be the judge. You are the judge of everything we talk about. So it is how it is. And now you can judge me all you want to because we're done. Friday, January 12th edition of 2024 is done for things you might have heard. Not the best edition. If you're listening to the audio, it's a whole lot of rambly stuff because I'm having issues with the monitors and reading and being very tired. But we got through. It happened. We survived. Thank you very much. If you're waiting for the big stuff for the weekend, it's coming. Tomorrow we have the weekly wrap-up, the top 10 stories per your peer engagement scores. Not for me curating them. We'll give you them from 10 to 1 tomorrow. Also, one of those stories will expand into the story of the week. Now, come Monday, we will do the whole curation thing and give you 10 stories from the top 30 of the full weekend, today through Monday morning. If you want a story there, make sure you go to the feeds, engage in it, and have other folks engage in it. Share it, if you will. A lot of shares does that as well. And get more people to vote it up so we know what we're talking about come Monday. So stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. Survive the weekend. This is going to be a severe weather weekend for the entire nation. All 50 states, literally, and Alaska and Hawaii, all with some sort of weather alert over them right now. So prepare for things. And Monday, we'll be talking about really cold stuff in Iowa and cold a lot of other places. So that's there. But till then, love you, mean it. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy Saturday, Sunday, Monday as well. We'll see you in recorded versions, fully recorded versions for tomorrow and live at 5:50 a.m. on Monday morning with things you might not have heard.